Hey guys, today we are going to talk about what happens if the person you're trying to sue is avoiding service, meaning that to sue somebody, you have to serve them with the lawsuit. Now, if the person that you are trying to serve is making it very difficult for you to give them the papers, what are the options you have? Now, first and foremost, let's go over the 4 times this individual has tried to serve, and this would be Frogan. Her real name is Morgan. So at 2:30 a.m., it's very weird that they started at 2:30 a.m., but that's what they're doing. On July 1st, this is a 5 story. So this is written by the server, the person trying to serve Frogan. This is a 5 story business style apartment building that is secured by a locked door and intercom. Our subject name is not listed on the intercom list. No one was seen on the inside. I could not gain access. I decided to wait outside the front of the building until it was able to gain access by someone letting me in while they're leaving or arriving at 3:15. So he waited 45 minutes before somebody let him in. I was able to gain access by following in after a resident or guest was leaving the building. I located where unit 403 is. I can stand down the hallway and be able to stay out of view and be able to watch. So first and foremost, the grammar is pretty appalling here, but nonetheless, at 4:30 a.m. at this time, nobody left or entered the unit. I stepped away and left the location without being noticed. No activity. Remember, Ethan Klein is paying for all of these visits. He's paying a hefty bill of over $2,000. I have no idea why they came at 2:30 and then left at 4:30 when most people are just sleeping. So the very next day at 2:30 again, upon arrival, I was not able to get access. The door to the property were locked. I waited outside the front of the building and waited for someone to enter or exit. So the same strategy around 3:05 again. They were able to enter. Now they talk about an elevator. So they took the elevator to the 4th floor. They located number 403. And then from 3:15 until 6:30, they just waited out in the hall. And again, surprising nobody, nothing happened because people are simply not awake. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think. I think this is really kind of a waste of money and time. Like, who is going to be awake from 2:30 until 4:30, and who's going to be awake from 2:30 until 6:30? And would you really be leaving your home at this time or coming in late at this time on back-to-back dates? Now, again, maybe you see live streaming. Maybe there's other information. I don't know, but it just sounds weird. Okay, so July 4th, we took off for the holiday. Now we are back to work on July 5th at 2 a.m. Yes, we started even earlier this time. Again, not really sure why. Upon arrival, I was not able to gain access. The doors to the property were locked. I maintained my position outside the main entrance. At 3:07, I was able to gain access. I bet you it's just the same resident coming in and out, right? It's probably the same dude 3 days in a row. Seems like the timelines match up. A resident was exiting the building. I proceeded to the elevator, where I took the elevator to the 4th floor. I continued until I got to unit 403. No movement was heard. I positioned myself down the hallway. I had a clear view of the front door, but I was far enough away where I left would not be seen. And again, from 2:15 until 8 a.m., during these times, there were no changes. No one was seen entering or exiting the unit. No one was there. Were no changes. There was no one seen in the hallway. I made an attempt where I walked to the door. I knocked on the door and I placed a document on the ground saying delivery and stuff to wait. I waited alongside the hallway out of sight. In approximately 10 minutes, nothing happened. So again, I have no idea why they chose these specific times. Like at 7:14, this is a much more normal time, in my opinion. At 7:14 at 6:12 p.m. They identified Jane Doe as African American or Middle Eastern, female in her 40s, 5'6", and 155 pounds, dark, long, curly hair, as well as dark eyes. So in substitute service, so they're saying my job is done. So substituted service we went over in the last video means that you don't actually have to do personal service, which is to the person being sued. But as long as there's somebody at home that you think could relay the message, that's fair enough. That's what they did to Casey Tron with Casey Tron's dad. Upon arrival, I could not gain access. The entrance to the building was locked. Okay, so we've already gone this. Now, the only big difference here is the timing. So instead of coming at like 2 a.m. in the morning again, it's 6:12, and I heard the doorknob of the Unit 403 make a noise, and the door quickly opened. Stepping outside was a darker female, possibly African American or Middle Eastern in her 40s, 5'6", 155 pounds, dark, long, curly hair with dark eyes. I asked if she was Morgan. She said, why? I said, I have legal documents for you, and she said she's not Morgan. I asked if Morgan lived there, and she said no, that she lived there for 6 years, and there was no Morgan. I asked if she could show ID, showing that she is not Morgan, and she refused. I told her since she won't show ID, that I will be serving her. She refused to take the documents, so I placed them on the front of the door. And this is how much this costs. So trust me, these people make a shit ton of money, guys. Everybody involved in a legal lawsuit is making a lot of money. You don't need to worry about this guy stalking and no. It's all like, he's a professional server. They actually have licenses here in Texas. So it is a registered California process server. Now, let's get to the fun legal part. What happens or what are some reasons you may not be able to serve someone in a lawsuit? Number one, they're avoiding service. Some people deliberately dodge process servers by refusing to answer the door, hiding, or even moving. Incorrect or outdated address. If you don't have their current location, attempts at service will fail. So those are probably the two situations here. A, that Frogan is avoiding being served, or B, it's not the right address. So what you can do, you can hire a professional server. They're skilled at tracking down people. This one costs quite a bit of money. They should be good at their jobs. Request alternative service. Courts sometimes allow service via email, social media, publication, any newspaper, or mailing if you can prove good faith attempts were made. So even if this wasn't the right person, Ethan can go to court and say, hey, I tried. I paid over $2,000. We tried 4 times. This person clearly knows that we're suing her because she has a GoFundMe. Right? That would be clear evidence to court that, yes, this person is not going to be out of, this person knows she is being sued. Request alternative service. Ask the court for more time. Use a skip tracer. These are investigators who locate people using databases, credit headers, or social media footprint. Now, I don't think it would be all that difficult to find Frogan based on how many times he orders like McDonald's and Uber Eats. In fact, she's been being a live streamer, she gives out a lot of details of her information in personal life. Maybe she's hiding. Maybe she has her aunt or a relative pretending that she doesn't live there. Or just maybe the more easy explanation is she simply doesn't live there. So what can you do when somebody is avoiding service? You can use a professional server. That is what Ethan did. These are experts trained to serve evasive people. They use surveillance and dressed in plain clothes and to approach the target without suspicion. You can try service at workplace or public place. I believe Frogan is very, very open about what her job is. Well, you may know where she works or go to a gym or church or other regular hangouts. A process server can attempt delivery there, so it doesn't just have to be your home. You can use a substituted service if allowed. If personal service fails, some states let you serve another adult at their home or even tape it to the door and follow up with certified mail. Worst case scenario, you can request service by publication. So this is what Ethan may have to do if Frogan continues to evade him. If you made repeated, documented attempts to serve them, you can ask the court to let you publish notice in a newspaper in the area where they last lived. So even if they didn't see it, the idea is you did everything you could possibly do. So this is used as a last resort. It is common in family law or smaller claims cases. So this is a little different. It's copyright. But worst case scenario, you could ask for service by publication. You can also file a motion for alternative service. This is a motion of the court. The court will have to approve this. The court may allow service by email, social media, if identity is confirmed. So Twitch would be a platform. Text message, posting on a courthouse bulletin board. You're going to need to know, you're going to have done everything, right? You're going to have to show detailed records of failed attempts to serve the person. So is this Frogan? As described, it is not Frogan. It is an individual who is, maybe the skin tone is different. It is an individual where the eye color is different. It's an individual where the hair is different. It's an individual where the height is different. It's an individual where the weight may be different. So the person who was served may not be Frogan. Maybe a relative, but the server doesn't really know that because no ID was given. So interestingly enough, we are in a very, for somebody so public who posts everything about her public life, including that she works in the healthcare industry, or the health industry, the health policy industry, it's weird that no one can find her. And she's just continuing to live stream and continuing to post on Twitter. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hi, guys.